I don't know about you, Greg, but that sounded like really fast. I lagged. It lagged for about 30 seconds before I could get it to turn on. Oh my God.
Really?
Hey, everybody.
Hello.
Tis the
Hello,
Saturday
Megs. How are you over there?
I'm good, Kim. I'm good, Greg. It's beautiful out here.
Yes, Megs is coming to us from the Canadian wilderness somewhere.
Check that out.
Look
Not
at
my
that.
ugly hair.
Beautiful, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I love the hair. The hair is giving the guided tour.
Yeah. Well, last time I lifted my computer up to do that, it cut me off. So
Yeah, that's right.
I'm tethered to my phone because there's no power. There's no nothing out here.
Yeah,
and I'm like the cottages at the other end of the lake are the closest people to me, so I'm good with that. Hey, Hillary Gatsby. Hillary was our first one here. We should give a prize for the first one here every time.
Oh yeah. Well, Hillary would have won it a lot of times.
Yeah, she would. And so does Tommy Buck and sometimes John Kleiner.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Susan Anderson is here.
Nice.
Christine
From Los
Miller.
Angeles.
Chris Ferriello appeared. Hey, Chris.
Excellent.
Betsy Coe. Hey, Betsy.
Hey, Betsy.
Janine Lee Eiselman Goodson. Mm-hmm. I can never say your name. It's like, Judy Stutz is here. Hey, Brian. Sharon Hayes, Kathy Nava. Oh, my screen just did something. If I disappear, you realize it's nature and not me.
Yeah, it's nature. Yes. Yeah.
That's my excuse, and I'm sticking with it.
Yeah. Well, I've got all the tabs open necessary in case I have to go run solo or something, or
Lisa Gervais, Susie Cardis. Trying to catch everybody. Okay. I think I got everybody.
Did you say Lisa?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tommy Buck has a question of the week.
There's Tommy Buck.
Do you know what the question of the week is?
The question, it's a good one this week.
I'm going to add this to my screen. Give me a second because I'm not on my regular computer.
The question
How
of the week.
did you catch the genealogy bug?
Yeah.
Aaron does a good job every week of coming up with great stuff.
Yeah.
So is my screen sharing okay?
Yes, it is. It's looking great. I see the bug.
Question of the week. How did you catch the genealogy bug? Greg.
Yes.
How did you catch the genealogy bug?
How did I catch the genealogy bug? Well, even as a young kid, I always was interested in family trees and charts and whatnot. And maybe that was the budding mathematician in my young brain. But every Sunday we'd always go over to my grandmother's place, and then we'd meet up with aunts and uncles, and we'd go out and play with the cousins. And so it was always a huge family. So I was always interested in how everyone was interconnected and stuff. So even though I was adopted, I sort of became the family historian and putting together all that stuff in my teenage years and early 20s. And then more recently, when I reconnected with my biological family and then had to start the family tree all over again, then that really reignited it again. And so because, finding this French Canadian relative and then this one, it was like putting together a giant jigsaw puzzle and going through the records, and it was very exciting. And WikiTree was a big part of all that too. So,
I've had a lot of people say that they like genealogy. They continue doing genealogy because it's a puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
And people who like to do puzzles really enjoy genealogy.
Yeah.
Or quilt makers. There's lots of quilt makers who are genealogists.
Yeah. I can see the connection there. Yeah.
Yeah. And mine I always say that my grandmother caught me as I was being born and just started yelling, your grandfather is, your grandmother is. I literally grew up on my grandmother's, plural, knees learning about our family. And then my grandmother had a strange story, and I'm not going to go into it. It's like an hour long to tell you this. And I wanted to prove that she was a part of the family that she thought she was a part of. And so that's why the genetic component came into genealogy. So, yeah, my grandparents, pretty cool people.
Neat, yeah.
Lots of fun comments. And a lot of people,
a lot of answers this week. Wow.
Yeah, 110. I'm not going to
Yeah.
go through every one of them. Because I'm hanging by a thread here. Nan Starjack,
Mhm.
Diane Despo got hers upgraded to best answer, and it is among the family stories my mother told. One was about her cousin George, who was murdered in a garage during Prohibition while he was involved in rum running.
Mm-mm.
But when I found George's Find a Grave memorial, it showed him dying in 1995 at the age of 103. So
Hmm.
no. Okay, so she had to figure out the story behind it.
Mm-hmm.
So Nan says it took years to track down, but short version, it was George's brother who was murdered during Prohibition, but nothing to do with that. George did later die, unfortunately, by suicide. And all of the
Mm.
stuff on Find a Grave is massively wrong. The moral of the story isn't this is what got me into genealogy, which was the question. But the moral of the story is don't believe anything until you verify it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. She had lots of good answers or there's a lot of good
Comments?
feedback and good talk,
Yeah.
good discussions going on G2G. Tommy Buck,
Woohoo.
Bayou State. I am interested in genealogy. I became interested back in the early 80s when my father's siblings, all sisters, decided to have a family reunion. Now, when I
Mm.
went through all of the list of information for people, what their reasons were for getting involved in genealogy, that was one of the top. That was one of
Wow.
the top family
Yeah.
reunion. So he says he went to a family reunion. It was at this reunion that they started writing down their family history. After the reunion, my mother and I spent numerous hours going to our local Carnegie Library where we began to search for our ancestors. I found genealogy fascinating. It's a wonderful hobby ever since. Tommy Buck, that's a good story. And that's
That's
a
neat.
story a lot of people might have going to the reunion. But you
Yeah.
also added in the facet of one of your ancestors helping you get started. So
Nice.
that hits those two high points.
Neat.
Hillary Gadsby. Okay.
Hillary in the house.
You just put a picture of an old suitcase up. Really? Come on, Hillary.
Oh,
Okay. Give her a break. She did.
she did
She
link a
says,
blog
I
post.
wrote a blog post about this. I'm not going to
Uh,
repost it in G2G. Click the
yeah.
link, people, and you go to
Oh, there we go.
Hillary's, to her uh, week 1 of 52 ancestors in 52 weeks. And that would be a good one to get started with.
Yeah.
But in her first post, it's all about how she got started. Given she's gotten a suitcase, she's
Mm.
supposed to take care of it. This is what's in it. Look at
This
this.
is
We
your
can do the
mission.
photo
Should
of
you
the week
choose to
here
accept
too.
it? Neat.
Look at this stuff.
Yeah. That's all that was in the suitcase? That's cool.
As well as telegrams, the suitcase contains other family items, including some certificates and burial documents for the Ward family.
Hmm.
Isn't that cool? And then she
Very cool.
maps it all out. Go and I'm not going to read her whole blog for you. Go read it yourself, people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's go back to the 52 ancestors.
Mhm.
Just one of those kids who like to listen to stories the older people were telling. That's from Rob Neff. 23andMe kit. So somebody giving them
Mm.
a DNA kit for Christmas got them started.
Mhm.
So that's fun. That's from John Vasky.
Mhm.
Don't forget to go through and upvote these great answers too, folks. Now look, see, that lag wasn't very long. A few minutes ago, I tried to click up to upvote. It wouldn't even do it.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Letters from my great uncle detailing some genealogical details, but I couldn't do much with them. Currently, no records available in New Zealand, and I was not yet online to find anything. When I moved to Canada, I was finally able to be online, and Canadian records were much more easily available than those. So, Canada, Robin
Sweet.
Lozier, you're welcome.
Yes.
Yeah, we're so glad you came to Canada and got interested. That's
Mhm.
fun. Let's see. We'll upvote that one. Day Garwood. Fascinated with ancestry ever since she was a child and grasped the concept. Do you know there's another big one in this list is people who had to do genealogy research reports for high school or for middle school
Yes.
or for
Yes.
elementary school. That was the thing that got them started.
Mm-hmm.
And those things, I mean, they're wonderful because you have to go to your elders
Yes,
and
you have
ask
to.
them how they came to be. So yeah, that's good.
That's right.
Even
So
out in the
often
woods, I
parents
talk with my
themselves don't know.
hands. My mother
Oh.
wanted to get info on the Mayflower. So people wanting to join historical societies and what is the Mayflower organization called?
That's not the Daughters of the Revolution. No, what would be? Is there a
Somebody's
Pilgrim
answering
Society?
it. El Greer says that they were a bored teenager staying at Granny's house.
Bored.
Started asking questions. Yeah. And I love this one. Renee Newman says, I'm pretty sure I was born with it. At age 18, started calling her grandma, started walking back that information.
Mm-hmm.
And it's in the genes, Daniel Volkman. It's hereditary.
Right.
Yeah. Uh-oh. I unvoted my upvote.
Oh, no.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
1977, after seeing the miniseries Roots, that was a biggie.
Yes.
People saw Roots. Yeah.
I was really enthralled by that as well. Judy says it was just called the Mayflower Society.
Okay.
Which seems
Thank you
pretty
so
obvious.
very much, Trudy.
Which seems pretty obvious now when you say it like that.
Yeah. Let's see. A teenager, when my father's cousin, Phyllis Hurd Smith, shared some of her discoveries with us. Of particular interest were a transcript she'd prepared of what my second great-grandfather had written of his experiences as a soldier in the GAR 9th New Hampshire during the U.S. Civil War. And they have Mayflower. There we go, Mayflower again. That's anonymous read.
Yeah.
So there's tons and tons and tons of great questions. I'm finding it hard to see my screen, and I'm enjoying you guys. Go and check out the question of the week, and we'll move on so we can give Greg all of his time that he needs this morning.
Oh, no. Okay. Let's see. So we will go with...
It's like there's just a silhouette of my camp air.
Yes, now you got the silhouette hat thing happening.
Yeah, it's getting cloudy.
Yeah, that must be it. There we go. Add to stream. So let me just zoom in a little bit more. There we go. Can you see that clearly?
Yes.
If everything was that big a font, then it wouldn't be a problem at all, would it? No. So the profiles of the week are all about water, which is so appropriate considering where you're broadcasting from, Mags. It's amazing. Which aquatic enthusiast are you most closely connected to? Well, I would say Mags Galden is the closest aquatic enthusiast. But other than that, the main profile, the starring profile of the week is Jacques Cousteau, or Jacques-Yves Cousteau, who was born in 1910, 11th of June 1910, in Saint-André-du-Cubzac, Gironde, France, son of Pierre-Daniel Cousteau and Marie-Jeanne Elisabeth Duaton. And he lived for 87 years, died on the 25th of June 1997 in Paris. So he's commonly known in English just as Jacques Cousteau, though his full name is actually Jacques-Yves. He was a French naval officer, as well as an explorer, conservationist, filmmaker, innovator, scientist, photographer, author, and researcher who studied the sea and all forms of life in water. He co-developed the aqualung, pioneered marine conservation, and was a member of the Académie Française. So he did a lot of stuff. Like he really advanced marine.
Did you watch him on TV?
Yes,
he was
like his TV specials were amazing. Like the photography was incredible, the science was incredible. Like the images that he captured, and like he was doing things that no one else was doing at that time.
And the way he described what he was doing really drew you in and really made you want to be there.
Yeah. And like he was making it, he made it understandable too for people, right? So it was very impressive. The Calypso was the name of the ship that he used, which had been a minesweeper. Someone else bought the ship because obviously it would have been expensive, and then he leased it to Cousteau for just $1 per year. So obviously someone else who believed in his mission. His wife was Simone Marie Melchior, and she was in that first mission. She was the only woman on the ship, but she was also heavily involved. She sold her family jewels for the fuel for the ship and her fur to buy a compass and a gyroscope. So
behind every great man,
yes, lies a greater woman.
with jewels and furs.
With jewels and furs. Well, I don't know if everyone has jewels and furs, but it's nice when they do and they can help out that way. So very impressive. The next person, Hobart Laidlaw Alter, who's Canadian from Ontario. But not our Ontario, California. So I was excited there. I wondered why he went from Ontario down to Palm Desert in California, but I guess he just went around the corner. He's the son of Hobart Romig Alter and Catherine Gray Laidlaw. But it's funny, when I first read that, and I misread that it was Ontario, California, I just thought it was Ontario. I was thinking, isn't that interesting? Because his mother's maiden name, which is Laidlaw, I thought, I wonder if they're related to the Ontario Laidlaws, because in Ontario, I don't know if anywhere else, but Laidlaw is the name of a big bus company. In fact, many school buses belong to the Laidlaw Corporation. So I thought, well, it's kind of appropriate if that's where he came from, because he's known for another form of transportation. He was the creator of the Hobie catamarans and the founder of the Hobie Company. And so there's a picture of the Hobies.
And it's not down here, but normally there is a Hobie cat sailboat sitting right next to me, but it's not down here right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Isn't that neat?
That is.
Yeah. So he was a surf and sailing entrepreneur and pioneer, created the Hobie cat, as I mentioned. And his profile is kind of neat because it lists some of his ancestors who took part in various things, the Revolutionary War, the Puritan migration, that sort of thing. So that's kind of neat when you have profiles that also show how people are connected. Next one is Peter Bradford Benchley. And I remember having a book by him on the shelf because he, of course, is the best known as the writer of Jaws. The novel.
Know. Check the water. I'm looking safe so far. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you be careful there, Megs. I'm not sure how many great whites are in the Canadian wilderness. Probably not too many.
Not too many, no.
You're probably safe. Anyways, he was born in 1940 in Manhattan and he only lived to 65. That's way too young to pass away. Passed away in 2006 in New Jersey, Princeton, New Jersey.
Did he die of a shark attack?
Yeah, that's right. One would wonder, why was his life so short? His bio was pretty short as well. He does have a Find a Grave memorial, which I didn't investigate, but probably doesn't give cause of death. So, but anyways, he's contributed a lot to the sort of the zeitgeist of marine life and
monsters
and everyone.
Monsters.
Even if you haven't even seen the movie Jaws, everyone knows about Jaws. So it's something that's just out there. The next one, Madeline Dorothea Berryman, born Spencer, daughter of Charles Herbert Spencer and Mary Victoria Carrington. She is a part of U.S. Black history and part of the Black Heritage Project, was an American oceanographer and an attorney. She was born in Virginia in 1920. She was the fifth of 9 children, so right in the middle, 4 younger than her, 4 older than her. She married Samuel Thomas Berryman in 1946, and they had 2 daughters who were also both very accomplished. One was an engineer and an attorney, and the other one was a research scholar, dance artist, and educator. So she earned a baccalaureate degree in mathematics, way to go, from American University, and a master's in marine affairs, concentrating on oceanography and sonar engineering from the University of Rhode Island. And then in 1957, she joined the U.S. Naval Oceanographic Office in Maryland and taught courses on statistics, on dynamics of the ocean and underwater sound. Also a professor of marine science at the University of District of Columbia in Washington, D.C., and served as the chair of the Department of Environmental Sciences from 1970 to 1981. So a very accomplished person. Done lots of stuff. And early on, too, when it was probably fairly unusual for women to be in those roles. So very impressive. Next, we have Trudy, Gertrude Caroline Etterly. Now, do you know who she was?
No.
So I was very impressed. So she was born in 1905 in Manhattan, New York, 23rd of October. She lived to the ripe old age of 98, passed away on the 30th of November of 2003 in New Jersey. But her claim to fame is that she was the first woman to swim across the English Channel.
I was going to say, was she the one that swam to Cuba?
Oh, I didn't see that in the profile, but I might have missed it because I was skimming. But the cool thing is, not only was she the first woman to swim, but when she did that swim, she beat all the previous times by men who had swum before her.
Of course she did.
Of course she did, yeah. So I like this quote here. I always like the quotes. The great point in my swimming it at all was to show that a girl could do it, and that an American girl could do it, and that I was the American girl. Not me, her is what I meant.
No. There's a couple of things wrong with that statement, Greg.
Yeah, that's right. But that's kind of cool. Her parents had migrated from Germany, became a butcher, her father. And then her swimming career, she competed competitively from an early age at 16. And she joined the Summer Olympics.
What is that contraption? Is that an early kayak?
What does it say here? Oh, I suspect that when you put it in the water, like it's a stretcher there. So do you lie? Yeah, I guess it is some type of kayak or something, right? Because she's got a paddle there. Can you see the paddle she's holding?
Yeah. Looks like it has a seat and a place for your foot.
Yeah, yeah.
How crazy.
That is wild. That is wild, yeah. So she tried to swim it twice. So the first time she swam it, they took her out. They pulled her from the water against her wishes, and so that disqualified her. I guess they were afraid that she wasn't going to make it. But then the following year, she tried again, and then she succeeded, and that's when she became the first woman to do so. And she was honored with a ticker tape parade when she came back to New York, so that's kind of neat. Sadly, though,
good.
What's that?
Sadly,
she suffered from hearing loss, not only to childhood because of childhood measles, but then the damage was compounded by that swim in the channel.
Yikes!
So she was.
That's pretty cold water.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, I wonder if later people put more type of ear protection or something and learn from that. By 28, she was almost completely deaf. So that's too bad. But she dedicated her time as a swimming instructor for deaf children after that. Anyways, very interesting. You learn lots from the profile of the week. At least I do. Next one.
There's discussion on people are talking about how they're related to each other.
Oh, neat. Oh, yeah.
John Kleiner has revealed that he's a part of the Guinness family.
Ooh.
We need to go and visit John.
Yes.
Okay. You know who your closest is? Is Melville.
Oh, is it? Oh, that's
Yep.
kind of neat.
At
Ahab.
21. Mine is 17. Oh, I've got two that are it's Herman Melville and Hobart Alter. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah. And
cool.
Michelle DeWitter Detweiler.
Oh, neat. Neat. So the next profile is Dr. Archibald Gowan Huntsman, who really is from Ontario, Canada.
And you knew how to pronounce that middle name really well.
What, Gowan?
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to
I would
school.
have been Gowan
Oh, no.
Lock.
No, I actually have friends with the last name Gowan. Went to high school with some. Played in the band with someone with the last name Gowan. So.
Of course you did.
Of course I did. That's right. He's from a little place called Tintern, which is in Lincoln County, Ontario. Son of Lucian Orotus Huntsman and Elizabeth Ann Gowanlock. This is a very full profile. Look at this. Look at all the siblings that are listed. Some half, some full. And then his children. So he was born in 1883, and he passed away in 1973 at the age of 89 in St. Andrews, Charlotte, New Brunswick. So moved from Ontario to New Brunswick. He was a Canadian academic, oceanographer, and fisheries biologist, and is best known for his research in Atlantic salmon and inventing the fast freezing of fish fillets in 1929. So thanks to him, we can freeze fish fillets really quickly so that we can eat them later, and they won't go bad. He was honored in 2000 by the Canada Post with a commemorative stamp, and the Huntsman Marine Science Center in St. Andrews, New Brunswick is named after him. And he was honored frequently by scientific societies in Canada, the US, and the UK. So very accomplished. And he was Canadian. Oh, Mindy's here. Someone was worried.
Yeah, Mindy came in. I was going to tell you that.
Okay. I saw earlier when you were doing the question, someone was worried about Mindy and her because of the weather down her way.
Oh, was there bad weather down there?
I think someone said floods or something.
Oh, wow.
Oh, there we go. She's just answered the question. I think.
That's good. That's good.
Okay. Well, we're happy you're safe, Mindy. You stay dry.
Very happy. Very happy.
Okay.
I'm staying dry so far.
Yeah, look at you. Yeah, don't fall into that lake. Don't lean back too far.
And also those clouds are filling in there. I actually had to put on a...
No. Okay, so let's see if I can do this. I've been practicing this all morning. Duke Pawa, Kahinu, Mokoe, Hulikohola, the big kahuna, the bronze duke, the duke, Kahanamoku is our next profile.
That's the big kahuna.
The big kahuna, yes. Who knew? I did not know that the big kahuna was actually the nickname of an actual real live person. I just thought it was the name, like someone like the giant water buffalo, or what was the phrase they used in the Flintstones?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I thought it was a made up title. I didn't realize, but it was actually this guy's nickname. Pawakahuna Mohokoe Hulikahola Kahanamoku.
Go ahead, say it 5 or 6 more times, because you practiced it.
Anyways, he was the son of Duke Halapu Kahanamoku and Julia Paconia Lonokakina Pawa. I'm not going to name all his brothers.
I'm just going to carry on because we don't know what Greg is saying.
That's right. One of my favorite places. What, the profile or Hawaii? So the big kahuna was born in 1890 in Halaakala, Honolulu, on the island of Oahu in the Kingdom of Hawaii. So this was long before it became a state. And he died on the 22nd of January, 1968, at the age of 77 in Honolulu. He competed as a swimmer in 4 Olympic Games, winning 5 medals. He won the gold medal in the 100-meter freestyle in 1912, and the silver medal with the second-place U.S. team in the 4x200-meter freestyle. He defended his gold in 1920 and won gold again in the freestyle that year. He won a silver medal during 1924 when the Olympics were in Paris, and the gold that year went to Johnny Weissmuller. So that was pretty stiff competition in the pool that year. And the bronze went to the Duke's brother, Samuel Kahanamoku. At the age of 34, this was Kahanamoku's last Olympic medal. He was also an alternate for the U.S. water polo team in the 32 Summer Olympics. Well, that would make sense if you're a swimmer, that you would be a natural to be on the water polo team too. And he registered for the draft. And then
I think if I tried to play water polo, I would just drown.
Yeah, yeah.
Woo!
unless they give you an inflatable horse underneath you.
There you go, or pool noodles.
So I don't know. Anyways, very impressive.
So Mindy's connection to Hawaii, your dad was born there.
Oh,
there's a whole conversation going on about Hawaii.
Isn't that neat?
Yeah.
Hawaiian cousins. Wow. So I wonder, does she get to visit often? That would be a great excuse to go visit often.
She said her dad was born there. She didn't say he still lived there.
No. But must have had relatives on the island still.
Yeah.
Or if not, a good excuse to go do genealogy to see if she still got relatives on the island.
Mindy, all you guys are talking about connections. I think we should do a cruise. Let's do a WikiTree cruise to Hawaii.
A Wiki cruise. That'd be so cool. That would be so cool. Maybe one of the sessions on WikiTree Day would be a cruise planning session.
Woo!
Anyway, just tuck that away.
And Lisa Gervais says for a long time she thought water polo involved horses swimming.
Why wouldn't it? It makes perfect sense, Lisa. Yeah. I think it does. Yeah. Certainly sounds safer than, just being all alone in a pool by yourself. Well, with a bunch of other people.
It's way deep.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, crazy. Anyway, so this is my closest connection, you say?
It is.
Herman Melville, an author and poet, born in 1819. I didn't realize he was that old. But yeah, born on the 1st of August, 1819 in New York City. He's an American. And died on the 28th of September, 1891. Now look at that. The year of his birth is an anagram. 1819, you rearrange it, you get 1891.
I bet if he had known that, he would have lived a bit longer.
Oh, no, that's perfect. Age of 72, which again is a little on the young side, I'm thinking at this point. So he's an American writer of novels, short stories, and poetry. And his contributions to the Western Canada are the whaling novel Moby Dick. That's the one he's most famous for. But he also did some other stuff. Bartleby the Scrivener is a story about a clerk in the Wall Street office. There's a slave ship narrative called Benito Sereno. And Billy Budd the Sailor was a work that he was working on, but was unfinished because he died before it was published.
Billy Budd Sailor?
Yeah. That's interesting, eh?
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah.
Was it a biography? It sounds like a genealogy.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's now, so the next part of the profile just basically also the genealogical facts, blah, blah, blah. But then his obit is a lot more interesting because it gives some information we didn't know about. But the fact, for example, that he was in ill health because of the effects of sunstroke, and his death was not unexpected. His grandfather was part of the Boston Tea Party.
Wow.
And it's not surprising when you read the obit that his big book is about whaling, the whaling story of Moby Dick, because he was on a whaling ship for 4 years.
Wow.
And then apparently he did not like the captain. The captain was a bit of a tyrant, so he and someone else left the ship, and then were kidnapped, or they were captured by a tribe of cannibals, apparently, and was asked, there are 2 tribes, and he was made to choose which one is the better tribe, and he paused and he answered Tipi, which I guess was the right answer because they left him alive. And he was in captivity for 4 months before he was finally rescued.
Wow.
Isn't that wild?
That is wild.
So he knew he wrote what he knew about, because, being on the whaling ship for 4 years, then he was actually rescued by another whaling ship. So he knew something about whaling, I guess.
And to tie all this back into genealogy, Janine says that her grandfather's middle name is Ishmael, named for one of the characters in Moby Dick.
That's right.
So that's how we can tie this all back to genealogy.
Very cool. Very cool. Neat. Then we have Albert Honoré Charles de Monaco, who was born on the 13th of November 1848 in Paris, and died on the 26th of June 1922 at the age of 73, again in Paris, Seine. And in case you didn't know, he was also known as Albert I, and he was the Prince of Monaco. Of course, Monaco is a principality. It doesn't have kings and queens. It's the ruler of that municipality or principality is a prince or a princess, I guess, would possibly, but I don't think it's ever been ruled by a princess yet. His biography is totally in French. Albert Ier dit le prince savant, ou le prince navigateur, fut prince souverain de Monaco de 1889 à 1922. Or the learned prince, Albert I, or the navigator prince, was Prince of Monaco from 1889 to 1922. And so then the profile on WikiTree here goes through some of the genealogy of when he was born and married and whatnot. The Wikipedia article goes into more details about his life and what he did. And he was a learned prince, and he did study marine life. And where was it here? I think it was around 1870. There it is. 1870, at the age of 22, he started there was an oceanographic exploration that he spearheaded, and was involved in lots of those studies and supports for that in France. So that's kind of neat that a head of state was involved and interested in science and advancing that. Then we have Edward Flanders Robb Ricketts, born on the 14th of May, 1897 in Chicago, and died 11th of May, 1948 at the age of 50. Almost, well, wait a second. Yeah, 50.
Well, that's very young. You've been talking about how young.
Very young, yeah. And he was just 3 days shy of his 51st birthday. Commonly known as Ed Ricketts, was an American marine biologist, an ecologist, and a philosopher. So he wrote a book called Between the Pacific Tides, where it's actually a pioneering study of intertidal ecology. And he had an influence on the writer John Steinbeck, which resulted in a collaboration.
That picture, I mean, that could be a contemporary picture of someone right there.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. He registered for the draft. He was good friends with John Steinbeck and Joseph Campbell, who wrote, what was it? Joseph Campbell. Oh, I just lost it now.
I've got a book of Steinbeck stuff up in one of the bunks up there.
Anyways, he was very influential, but sadly, the reason he passed away was because of a car accident. He was driving along the railroad tracks on his way to dinner after his day of work, and he was hit by a train. He lived for 3 days, conscious some of the time, but he died on the May 11th. So that's why he died so young. It was a car accident. Car meets train. Train wins. Car loses.
Yeah.
They put a life-size bust of him at the railway crossing.
He wrote, Joseph Campbell wrote early collaborations. The Hero.
Something Darkness. Heart of Darkness? Joseph Campbell.
I don't see that. Hero, Masks of God, Power and Myth, The Power of Myth. Let me look and see other books.
I thought it was Heart of Darkness was the big one that he was from.
I don't see that.
No? Okay. Maybe
But I can look.
Else. Here we are getting myth.
So people aren't answering, are they?
Oh.
Heart.
Okay.
Dark.
Well, and the last profile of the week is, well, while someone finds out what what book Joseph Campbell is most famous for.
Joseph Conrad wrote Heart of Darkness.
My mistake. Okay. It's Conrad Campbell. Sorry. Okay.
We have a question for you.
Okay.
What do you consider? What do you consider too young to die?
Oh. When are people not considered too young to die? That's a good question. Well, I'm planning to live to be 100. So that's my that's my cutoff.
My dad wants to live to 108.
108. See, that'd be great. But I'm not going to be greedy. I'll be happy if I hit the 3 digits. I mean, I'll settle for the late 90s if I have to. Anyways, as if, I'm not sure how much control we all have of that sort of thing in the end, but if we did, that's what I would choose. I'd like all my friends and relatives to last that long too, because I don't want to say goodbye. So Sir Wyville Thomas Charles Thompson, born on the 5th of March, 1830 in Linlithgow, West Lothian, Scotland, passed away on the 10th of March, 1882 at the age of 52, again, young, in the same place. He was a historically significant person of Scotland. That's an interesting phrase. Historically significant person. And he was educated first at Merchiston Castle School and then at the University of Edinburgh. I like how, did Pip do this? It's nice that they're
I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, oh, look at the tartan.
Yeah, look at that. That's a neat tartan. Yeah, that's actually quite a nice one.
Hey, you haven't scrolled up.
Is Pip involved? No, Russell Butler. I don't see Pip's name here. But that's nice when they show the tartan. He was a Scottish naturalist and is often called the father of modern oceanography and marine biology, one of the first marine biologists to describe life in the ocean depths. So his work would have predated Jacques-Yves Cousteau. He participated in several marine expeditions, including the famous worldwide expedition on the HMS Challenger, which embarked in 1772. Wait a second. That doesn't make sense. He was born in 1830.
Died 1882.
It must have been 1882. That must be a typo, don't you think?
Oh, we need to get that fixed up.
Let's just look that down. The Challenger expedition. Let's open that up. Yes, it was 1872 to 1876. So that should be an 1872, not a 1772 right there. So anyone following along at home wants to make that edit. Of course, everyone's going to dive in to the edit now. He was knighted on his return from the Challenger expedition in 1876. Yeah, that would be a 104-year expedition. That would have been worth a knighthood.
Yeah.
And a marble bust of him is in the University of Edinburgh, as well as a memorial window. Isn't that neat? I wonder how many WikiTree profiles have the profile person has a memorial window of them. Probably not that many, but that'd be kind of a neat free space page, of all the memorial windows of WikiTree people. Anyways, but he was so throughout life, throughout his career, he was a botanist, physician, philosopher, historian, toxicologist, naturalist, physicist, anatomist, mathematician, minister, educational reformer, surgeon, physician. Looks like he did a bit of everything.
That's a really good profile, except for the one little mistake, but that's a
yeah.
good profile.
And that's an easy one to do. I mean, how
Yeah.
many times have I typed numbers wrong and stuff? Just flipping around with the thing. Anyways, very nicely done. So there we have the profiles of the week. And again, I've taken a huge chunk of time.
We love you, Greg.
Oh, well, you're very kind.
Oh, yeah.
So are you okay to do? Okay, I'm gonna have to mute myself anyways to let Finnegan out. He's got excited about Julie.
I don't think I can do that from here. But I'll look for them and see if I can find them.
No. Can you do the photos? I'll let out Finnegan. You start.
That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to find the photos.
Oh, okay.
While Greg is off running around, lots of great conversations going on in the chat. You guys are always doing great things in the chat. It's always fun. I have to find, let's see, 4 days ago, school. All right, so let me get my screen shared for you guys. If I can do a share screen. There we go. And we go to the photos of the week. If I get this done right. Greg, you're teasing me with your coffee. Let's see. All right, photos of the week. And this week it is school. So we have a really good picture here. Let me get my screen a bit bigger. That's a cool picture. Don't forget to vote these up, people. So the bottom of this photo is Mountain View Schools, 1917. The teacher on the left is my maternal grandmother, Nellie Long. Why didn't she look? Oh, wait. Is that the teacher? Or is that I can't tell which one is the teacher. Is that the lady in the white shirt?
Who's looking off to the side?
Yeah, she's like, okay, I don't really want to be here.
Yeah.
That's a great picture, though.
The only other person who might be the teacher is the one in the back row.
Yeah.
Something on her head, like a...
Yeah, but I can't tell. That's interesting.
They
look
look
at
about
this.
the same
This
age.
is obviously a farming community.
Yeah.
Because Alexis Nelson, let's see. The boys are all in overalls.
Yeah.
That is really a cool picture.
Well, the girl that I said, could be the teacher. Look at the second from the end in the back row. That girl, like, they're obviously sisters. They have to be sisters. Like, they're almost identical.
Family resemblances.
Mm-hmm. Very cool.
Oh, wow. And look at the wood burning stove, the little wood stove in there, too.
Oh, man, yeah.
Father attended this school, Stephentown, New York. Became a home where his brother Howard and his wife raised 11 children. Wow. That's Joyce. Look at the desks. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Let's see. My father, John Russell Miller's first teaching job, one-room wooden schoolhouse, 1936. Where is it? Ontario. Woohoo!
Woo!
And you can see they better have a wood-burning stove in their room.
Yeah.
Interesting hats.
Yeah.
Where came to school without shoes, no money for shoes. You imagine walking through the snow with no shoes to school?
No.
I don't think
how could you do that?
You couldn't do that. You'd end up having frostbite.
Yeah.
So
in the summer I can see it, but wow.
That's interesting that those hats, Pat Miller. I would like to know what kind of community was this? And it was in Ontario.
Ontario.
Yeah, I was thinking of maybe out in Alberta where they have a big Ukrainian.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting. Okay, next one.
Very boxy hat, yeah.
Oh, wait, no, there's a second one.
Ooh.
That's a view from looking at the teacher.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful stove. Look at that.
Oh, there's the stove right there. Yeah. Yeah.
So
with
great.
the stovepipe going up in the middle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, very ornate. Like, look at the
Yeah,
the,
clawfoot.
the copper work or whatever along the side,
Yeah,
the metal work.
gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. We've got a see 1897 and shows the school at Mansell Lacey, Herefordshire. Grandparents Susan and James Porter were teachers, and my
Oh,
grandma was born in the adjoining house. That's from
oh,
Christine Frost. That's
very
pretty
cool.
cool. Let's see. Let's see. Here's one from printed from a negative. I want to be able to do that.
Mm,
You can do that with your computer somehow.
right.
There's a
Yes.
program you can download where you can put the negative to the computer screen and then you take a picture with your phone. Have you
Mm.
seen that?
I haven't seen that, but I like most Photoshop type programs have a way of basically reversing the color, so black becomes white and whatnot.
So, and then she's added names to some of that,
That's
some of the
cool.
pictures. Ruth, that's so funny. She named the shadow Ruth
What?
Bean. Ruth Bean is the shadow in the front.
Oh, that is hilarious. I didn't see that. The one taking the picture?
Yes. That's
Oh,
funny.
that is very funny.
All right. Photo from Cadman Elementary in San Diego. Let's see. We'll give that an upvote. Did we upvote all the rest? Got to make sure we upvote them, people.
Yeah.
Oh, and upvote the video too, the live cast. Yeah. Janine Eiselman. There's a kid there in Lederhosen. That's interesting. Photo, Cadman Elementary, San Diego. Classmate shared with me just recently. The pictures was taken in the late 1960s.
Mm.
Why was there a guy there in Lederhosen? That's interesting.
A fan
Janine's in the chat. Tell us about that. Let's see. Kathleen Wagner Thompson. Kathy in the lower right corner. 1966. Mission Secondary School, Mission, British Columbia, Canada. Upvote that. 1978.
Wow.
We did not dress like that in 1978 at my school.
Oh, I was just thinking this looks just like my my yearbook pictures.
This is 1965. Or what is that date in the bottom, Greg?
It says 66.
66.
65, 66. Grade 9.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Oh, she rode motorbikes behind the school. Yeah, 66. That makes more sense.
Yes.
Is that all we have? That is all we have.
Oh. Let's see.
I'm going to leave it right here.
Yeah, sounds.
I love
look at that. That's very cool.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool thing.
Mm-hmm.
The globe, the little globe at the bottom.
Yeah, very neat.
Or we could leave it on the shadow of the Ruth Bean.
That would be fun too.
Anybody got any questions they'd like to ask as I'm trying to remove this?
Well, Primordial Rebel has a nice comment there. One major thing that I'm blown away about WikiTree and appreciate so much is the real history. In all my years in school, I never learned as much history as I have since joining WikiTree.
That's a cool statement, Primordial. That's cool.
Yeah. Well, you guys are joining me as I learn all about a lot of these profiles, especially the American profiles. You know, parts of history that I never studied.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The Janine says.
Oh, sorry.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry.
Where'd it go? There was a boy in an outfit. Oh, stop it now. Oh, it was a boy in an outfit. Was him showing his heritage. We were learning about our classmates' different heritage. How cool was that?
Nice.
That's
very good.
Cool. Go ahead.
I was just going to show Mindy's reply to Primordial Rebel about history, and her comment is it's much more interesting if you're relating it to genealogy and your own ancestors.
Yes. And and while Greg was going through those, I was like, people are relating this to genealogy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do the video a like, please. Thank you, as.
Mm-hmm.
Let's stop it.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, I'm not touching anything again.
Yeah, I know. Okay. So we finished the challenge this week for Matthew McConaughey. And do we know who's coming up in next week? Mindy would know and would tell us right away. But
Mindy had a good post about Matthew McConaughey. Was it? Oh no, Elon Musk's shadier characters in his family. That was very interesting. That was a good one, Mindy.
That's
if you're interested in joining the challenge, always be sure to check out the G2G feed, because there's always a link at the top for the current challenge, what's going on. You can join the challenge. You can jump in on Discord. So check that out. Check us out next week, Saturday, same time, same place. I believe Sarah will be returning from her alligator, whatever, wrestling tournament she's been at.
Yes.
Mary Todd Allen says, I stumbled upon this video and am a member. It appears you're viewing school-related photos on WikiTree. A ton. So if you want to go to check out the photos, to post a photo, check out G2G again. 52 weeks of photos, I think. You can also go to the very front home screen for WikiTree. The lower left hand, they'll have the photo of the week picture that we may have chosen or we may not have chosen. But underneath that, there's a link also to that if you want to jump in. What is Join the Appalachia Project? I'll join. Well,
new project, yeah.
I'm Appalachia.
A brand new project. Wow. So now what area, what states would that cover? Appalachia or Appalachia?
Alabama. Well, Alabama, they peter out. Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, Virginia, West Virginia, a little bit of Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York, Maine. They go all the way up the East Coast.
Oh, wow.
There's a really good book called The Albion Seed that talks about the migration patterns. And the people who settled along the Appalachians were people from the borderlands of the UK. So north of Ireland, south of Scotland, and north of England. And it's Albion Seed. It's just great. It chronicles 4 different migrations, but this one is the one that settled Appalachia. And it was mainly those people who were kind of needing to get away because they wanted a better life.
Is it because the landscape is similar to where they
and they liked the foothills and the mountains of the Appalachians. So yeah.
Interesting.
More than you realize. They have it all organized.
Wow.
What
So Lisa's saying that Tom Cruise is the next WikiTree challenge.
Ooh, yay.
Building out connections to him. And next week, I think I will be able to show off the latest updates to the 6 Degrees app. I've got some cool stuff.
And you had done a shout out. I don't know if you'd want to shout out here that you're working on a new app with people who might have adoption as one of their.
Yeah. You'll see all that will be revealed next week, or in a G2G post before next Saturday. But I will demonstrate here next week.
Primordial Rebel. If you look up the Appalachian Trail, you will see that it goes from Dahlonega, Georgia, all the way through the 100-mile wilderness in Maine. So yeah.
Let's add geography to the things I've learned. That's great.
Well, it's about time to go, Greg. And
I think it is.
I got to go swim or something.
Okay. Yeah. You have a great swim. Enjoy your week. Enjoy your week every day, everyone. Thanks, Mindy, for the love of the 6 Degree app. Glad you like it.
We'll see you next week.
We'll see you next.